Now we were going back in time, 1967, the Chevy Camaro of Jeff Kempton. He's lined up over in the Valley Tire lane here to the right side in the Entice Motorsports lane. It's Wayne Roy. It's a 72 Ford Pinto with 351 Windsor. Shelburne Stevedore's G. Cook and Sons. As we get set to roll down the track here for time trials for the very first race weekend of this season. And we certainly love having your stories on Maritime Machines. And we're going to talk a little bit about a 1974 Duster and the Rankins who own it. In fact, Dad had the car, his first race car, and it's now his son's. And maybe we'll even see them race each other. Right ahead on Maritime Machines. Wayne Roy's picking up the left side, the right lane, and Jeff Kempton looking to take that Camaro down track. Wayne Roy in 089, treat him by a vote by 1/1000th of a second. Kempton 094, but it looks like that Camaro is going to pick up the light at the end at 11:29, 114 miles per hour. Margin of victory was just about 3 feet, or 18/1000ths of a second.
1974 Duster. John Rankin, when did this car come into your life?
Richard Boyd found this car for me in 1992, and I raced it in pro in PEI, Raceway Park, and Maitland Dragway, and then sold it in 1997.
Okay.
And then, I think it was 7 years ago, a friend of ours found it. We bought it, Wyatt, my son, bought it back. And we redid it, went all over it. It's pretty much the same engine combination it had in it when we ran it in the early 90s. But it's a lot of fun.
So how old were you in 92 when you had this car?
18.
18.
Yeah.
So this was your first race car?
Yep. Yep.
And was it just because, or did you look for one like this, or was it
My brother had a Dodge Start.
Okay.
And I've always liked these bodies, so I had to get it. He found it and did a lot of work to it back then. My brother and I built it. My father helped it quite a bit.
Right.
But yeah, just a 318 with 360 heads. It's pretty much the same engine combination we had in it in the 90s. Only now it's got a little different gear ratio, and he runs exhaust on it. And it's only, well, I was running 13 ones with it, and he's running 13 fours, 13 threes.
Right. Now, this is a whole lot different than what we have here.
Yeah.
This is the car that you have been racing.
Yeah, last year. Well, last 5 years, I guess.
And when we talk about, you know, a rail car, like people, when they think of a drag racer, a drag car, a lot of people think of this. They call it a rail car. So where did this car come from?
This came out of New Brunswick.
Okay.
A friend of ours had for sale, Todd Chase. I wanted to try one, and the easiest way to try one is to just
buy one?
To invest in it. I took the motor on my Mustang and put in it for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And then we just put a 408 together for it. It's only 600 horsepower. It's not super quick, but it gets the job done.
And this car has other things to make it a race car, like delay box and
all the electronics.
trans brake.
Electric shifts.
Right, so this one is made, this is never going on a street.
No, don't let the headlights fool you. It's not going
Now, what's the difference in driving the two cars as far as, you know, the person behind the wheel? What is it that you have to do differently? How are they the same?
The thing is about a door car, you kind of have to follow them down the racetrack. Like if it starts to drift with the wind, with the slicks or whatever, you kind of got to follow. This here, you just let it go. You can't, there's no rash adjustments or anything. The steering's so quick on them.
Right. A lot of drag racing is consistency, and it's about knowing your vehicle and knowing how to, as they say, dial.
Yeah.
For people who perhaps don't know what bracket racing is and how you can race a car that's a 10-second car versus an 8-second car, how that works. How do you describe that? How do you explain that to people?
You make time trials to figure out what the car is going to go, wide open. And then you put a number, they call it a dial-in on your window. So if he's running 1350s and I'm running 890, it's made so that you leave identical off the starting line. If you both get perfect reaction times off the starting line, he'll be leaving on his 1350 dial. I wait. And if we're both identical on the starting line, we should be identical if we run dead on our numbers at the finish line.
Yeah.
A lot of the time that doesn't happen. Sometimes it goes either way.
Now, in the race that we're going to do a little later today, it's going to be this car leaving first,
Yep.
and then you're going to try and catch him.
Oh, I'll catch them.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Well, and this must be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
We just got back from North Carolina, and it's an addiction to do.
Yeah.
We invest a lot of money, but it's a lot of fun. And we do it as a family. My wife's working today, but we do it as a family. And well, she raced 2 years ago. She raced.
Yeah.
She ran Sportsman. A lot of fun.
And that's what I guess in a lot of ways this is a family sport. But when you're racing against each other, and I don't think you and Wyatt have ever met up on the track in a competition.
Time trial before, but we
just a
haven't
time
raced.
trial.
Yeah.
So how do you go into that knowing he's really good with?
I don't change.
You just
My game plan is the same every time.
right.
It doesn't matter who's in the other lane. And that's one thing that I've handed on as much knowledge as I could to him as a racer, because he's been racing since he was 6.
Yeah.
And like I say, it doesn't matter what happens in the other lane. If you do what you're supposed to do in your lane, that's all you have to do. You just have to focus.
What do you do for a career?
I'm a mechanic.
So we have this electrification, the talk about electric vehicles. And people wonder, what is the future of this dinosaur power, this old school mechanical machinery?
Not going anywhere.
No?
I'd be more than welcome to see some electric cars making passes.
Yeah.
It's evolution of the sport. It's going to happen.
Yeah. But it's still the mechanical things. There's not much you can do with a Tesla, but unless you have a computer.
I couldn't. Yeah,
with a
I couldn't
computer.
do anything.
With a computer. But that's the difference between that. Although you do have electronics in this car.
And we use electronics for the weather station to
Right.
see what it's going to run, and so we can put a proper dial on it.
There's a little bit of science involved, but as you said, or we said, it's consistency and it's knowing your car and,
Yep.
and figuring it all out. And you've had successes at this track and other tracks, so
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun putting you down the track next to Wyatt for this winner takes all, bragging right, I guess, king of the hill, top dog Rankin.
Coming up next, we've got a newer model rear-engine Corvette. Apologies, I don't have a name for you, but that's some nice-looking car. The blue car in the left lane, the red pickup truck to the right is Chris Oliver out of Amherst. 91 GMC Sierra with a 454. That's not your dad's pick-em-up truck. If I'm not mistaken, it looked like he had fire plates on his Corvette. Maybe not. And at 12:10, 118 miles per hour, Corvette down the left side. Oliver in the GMC Sierra is 1572 at 82 miles per hour.
Wyatt Rankin. So nice to see you.
I'll see you too.
You've been racing since how old? How old were you when you first got that junior dragster?
I was 6 years old when I started my first race in PEI.
Wow. And how old are you now?
I'm 17.
And when that time came to go from the junior dragster to a bigger car, a street car, tell me a little bit about what was going through your mind. I mean, clearly you like doing this, and you're good at it.
When I first started, it was there was a whole new learning curve. With the junior, I could just get in, put my foot down, and it would go. With these, I shifted, and my first pass ever, I actually got to about 660 feet, which is the original finish line for juniors. And I was like, holy cow, there's still another half of the track to go.
Right. So when we talk about going from a junior dragster to a full-size race car, and there's a bit of a, as you say, it's twice the distance. There's a bit of a learning curve there. When your dad said this car should come back into his life and your life, tell me a little bit about it. What did you think of this car? Did you remember it from when, or pictures from when your dad had it?
I remember seeing it in photos a lot. I never got to see it as a kid,
Right.
but he used to always talk about it a lot. Said he missed it, and so we always would find, trying to see where it was and see if we could buy it back. And like he said, around 7 years ago, we found it, bought it back, redid it, and now it's my car. So
It literally belongs to you now?
yeah.
Okay, pretty much. So what kind of work do you have to do to keep this safe and running the way you want it to run?
Check all the bolts over. After a weekend here, we usually torque the tires, make sure they're still on tight, and make sure nothing has moved.
Left lane goes 933 with a 9, 939 and 142. Rory McNeil's 1017 at 130. Lonnie Wright gets a little bit sideways, trying to get that burnout going. You don't want the hook before you get to the line. Lonnie Wright, the 1967 Ford Mustang, 632 cubic inch big block. As Jimmy Miller over to the left.
Now, and as far as the way that this car leaves the line as opposed to the way your dad's car takes off, tell me a little bit about what's going on here, where you're foot braking to start the car, to start the race.
When I foot brake, I usually put my foot on the brake and put the gas down to bring it about 2,000, and then I let go of the brake, leave the line, and it only goes to 60 feet in about 2 seconds. That car there, I put my foot to the floor and have a button. When I let go, it'll come up to about 4,000, and I'll leave the line and go to 60 feet in about 1.2, I believe.
Okay.
So it is, so it's a lot faster.
Big jolt in that car.
Yeah.
This one a little more comfortable, but it's still a lot of fun, I'm assuming.
It drives away like a street car, which is just how I imagined it. It's perfect to leave soft. It's just a fun car to drive.
And you were just recently in the U.S.
Yep.
for an event, and you weren't in either of these cars.
No.
And you got something very special.
Yep, I got a perfect 000 hero coin, they're called. Kyle Seipel is the name of the guy. Not a lot of people have had these. As far as I know, there's only 2 in Canada. But
Right, and one of them's right here in your hand.
Yeah.
How did it feel going to that event, this is all on you. This is you making this happen.
I was kind of going, like I said, doing time trials, just kind of experience it, get a big experience going. And I've always wanted one of those coins, watching it and knowing that like there's something up for grabs. So I always wanted one. And where we were pitted, there was one guy who actually won 2 before me, and I refused to touch it. I refused to even look at it until I got my own. And then when I got one, I was very, very happy.
That's not the only special coin in your life. There's one on the dash.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That is a dime. When I took a guy named Randy Green for a drive. He got my car, and every time we see him, he asks about the Duster.
Yeah.
And we're always talking about it, laugh and joke around about it. And where we bought this, actually, we found I believe it's his grandfather, his old roadster body, Green's Racing roadster body. So we found that, and he's always talking about that. When we took him for a drive in Miramichi, when he got out, I noticed there was a dime on the seat. So I told Dad, and then Dad said, well, we leave that in there. And we epoxied it to the dash, and the day after that was in my car, I won Sportsman and Pro in the same day. So it was kind of a luck given to me.
And there's a little bit of superstition there.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's permanent. It's they're part of this car. That's Gillen Pettipaw, the 1971 Dodge Dart from Pettipaw Family Automotive. And over on the left side is David Coombs on his Kawasaki ZX-10R. And clearly, you have a lot of fun doing this. What do your friends say about what you do on the weekends? Are they gearheads? Are they into motorsports in any way?
No, they understand a little bit of it. I tell them some of it. They're definitely proud of me. They always ask how the weekend goes, see updates on social media. So they're always kind of asking, and I explain it to them. They're like, "That's cool," but. They're a whole different family at home. Around here, it's the racing family, so everyone understands what it is here.
Yeah.
At home, it's a big difference.
Tri-County Roofing, helping keep the Atlantic coast dry.
Oh, hi. You're rolling? Okay. There's nothing happening. Now, I'm going to ask you your prediction. What do you think is going to happen today
In the race against him?
in the race against your dad?
I think he'll have me on the tree, but I think I will. I'll get there first and hopefully run my index. I think I'll have a little bit better light than me.
Why do you think that he's going to have a better light? Because of the box?
No, box
No.
gives no competitive advantage. He's just more consistent on the tree. than
Okay.
me, so.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully I'm not going to slow you down too much in the passenger seat. God bless you. Awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. Tell me about this picture.
That is me and my brother when we went to, I believe it was New Hampshire. That's in my grandfather's motorhome. I think you know the story of my brother. Passed away in 2013 when I was 8.
What happened?
Car accident. So we were in PEI one weekend, and I think it was Labor Day weekend actually. And cops came to our camper door and knocked on it and told us that, and we rolled home, and it was true. I didn't. My biggest regret is not being able to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
Or talk to him one last time. He's always with me. That's been in the cars since I started racing it. So.
And what do you remember of him? Because you're really quite a bit younger.
I remember he's the one who got me into basketball and stuff. I had an offer from Acadia and St. Mary's University to go play basketball there. But he got me into basketball. I used to play baseball. I still remember the times Mom would get mad at him for driving me somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Did he have the racing bug?
no.
No. And I don't know if I ever remember seeing him at the track.
He went one time to Miramichi.
Right.
I believe is what. He probably more, but as far as I can remember, it was just one time in Miramichi.
That's got to be tough losing someone like that.
But it's always, I know he's always around here. Dragonflies was his kind of animal that at his funeral they talked about. So every time I see Dragonfly, I know it's he's here, right?
What was his name?
Cody. Thank you. It was cold, so it sputtered and spun, but yeah, that's all good.
It looked like to me he got us.
Oh yeah. Mine was probably, if I had to guess my time, it'd probably be a 13:86.
Okay. Nobody broke out.
Actually, you know what? I was late on the tree.
How do you feel you hit?
Oh my, I was late. I was really late. It didn't take it off the line, right?
Right.
Like it bogged. Like it's usually right there when I leave the line. It was about 150, 145. So not having enough heat in it, it wouldn't take off the starting line. But I think I was probably 0.3 on the tree.
Right.
And I was late, so I would say I was probably 1386, 1390 to 86 is what I think I was going to go. What would I dial? 1360?
60, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His was probably a. What do you have, a 910?
Yeah.
His is probably a 917.
Okay. So you know this just because, from experience.
Yeah.
You know the car, you know how it works. Awesome.
I think 917 would be the fastest I think is when he would have went there. But you felt the bog off the line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she pulled once she hit the 60 foot. You could.
I was so worried about not getting into like third gear or something. I was like, please don't hit it forward. Remember, and then back.
Yeah.
Back. So once it got rolling, it felt pretty good. I was probably like only 98, 97 mile an hour.
Okay. All right. I want you to hand me the ticket. Don't look at it.
Okay.
Actually, we don't want to spoil it for them till we get back.
Well, they did good.
They did real good. Well, for people who don't come to the track, they don't know what kind of a family atmosphere there is. And there's chewing and there's going on and there's a little bit of rivalry and sometimes it gets something, but
So we did a lot today. This is the first race of the season at Greenfield, so the track was just prepared. Very first race of the year, down the pathway, two of you side by side, and you haven't seen the ticket yet. And I'm wondering, okay, who do you think had the better reaction time? What do you think you got? How close to a perfect?
Oh, it wasn't perfect. It was a teen. I hope it was a teen.
Yeah.
I hope.
How did you think you left the line?
I think mine was probably a .27.
Yeah, but it had a bog, so it didn't react as quick as it should.
.27 is what I think I'm going to add.
Okay, well, you're both going to be happy to see 02, 002, 2 zeros and a 2, and better than you thought.
Okay.
A 140, a 14.
Why did you do that to me?
And the end of the line, it could have been closer, but you guys did a great job.
I said 1410 and at 97, 96.
Yeah.
So I thought I went. It was
Just with the
nice.
bog. It's all good.
And-
Get that straightened out here now.
And a 934 on the 10 dial at 133 miles per hour.
Well, really, you raced yourself.
Perfect.
Same number. You had both had the same number of the car. So, John, hell of a time. Good to see you again.
Like I say, that was
Wyatt?
the first passes on both cars this year. Don't really know what to do, just drive them.
It's a bit of family history coming together on the track, and we're really happy to be a part of it. So thanks for letting us into your lives today.
All good.
All right? And now you get to go for the rest of the weekend having fun.
You almost got that, though, with Eagle Ridge.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.